Questions? Oh, come on. Everybody has ghost questions. Nobody has a ghost question. No questions?
I'll start.
Okay, yes.
With all the ghost hunters, ghost adventures, all these television shows that pop up.
It's a really good question, and it's a sensitive subject for us. One, we're excited that people are acknowledging ghosts. They are real, they are there. With the new technology, they can actually find them and have meters that show, oh yes, there's a ghost. Where we draw the line is most of those shows tend to leave the ghosts there. It's very hard for either one of us to watch. Because
I can't watch them.
we know, right, we know that there's a ghost that's lost, trapped, hurt, confused, needs to find the way home, back to God, which is where home is. And all they do is find them. Yes, you have a ghost. So, the difference is we work to send those ghosts home, send them back to God. And in doing that, it not only makes the ghosts happier, it makes the haunted people happier. It also makes the earth a better place because it lightens the load of the grid system that surrounds the earth. And that's one of the reasons that both of us took on the mantle of Ghostbusters. It's not an easy job, but someone has to do it.
That's right. And also, on the same line, a lot of the things that we find, there are things that go bump in the night that aren't ghosts, and there's explanations in here. This book is very interesting because it comes from two different philosophical backgrounds. Ronnie being angel girl and working with the angelic kingdom, and I'm a witch and I do weird shit.
And queen of weird shit.
That's me. And I come from a different perception. We both have a real good honoring of each other and our belief systems, because I think we need to have both to understand everything that's going on this planet. Now, there are some things that happen that there are entities that we don't send to the portal of light. They don't belong there. There are entities here that came from outside the universe. So sending them to the portal isn't, they're going to go, so what do we do with them? You know, we send them to the portal to the angelic king, they're going, we don't want this here. Why are you sending it to us? And so that's where I come in to find out who, what, when, where, how, and why with these other strange things that may have come in through rips in time and space and may have something to do with time-space experiments and dimensional ripping and things like that. So we come from a place where there's not too much. In fact, we've never found anything that we couldn't handle. Between the two of us, if one of us didn't have the answer, the other one did, or we put our heads together and figure it out, and our success ratio is extremely high. We've never found a ghost that we couldn't find a place for. Yes?
When you go to a ghost busting and you have someone with you who's a really terrible skeptic about the whole process, how do you deal with that? Does it affect your ability to do your job?
That's happened before, and we're so seasoned now. In the beginning, it may have kind of thrown us off balance, but now we don't care. If we have a client that's like really skeptical, it's like, well, usually they're not. Maybe they'll have a relative that's skeptical. But when clients come to us, they're pretty desperate. Even if they are a little skeptical, they are desperate enough to call us and to have some kind of trust in us. But we're so seasoned now, it's like if somebody doesn't believe in it, I don't care. We still get results. And yes, it could, you know, lower or higher the anxiety rate and make it a little more difficult, but we seem to be able to get through it with, you know, we find a way to the other side.
Yeah, what I was going to say is one of our very first ghost bustings together as a team was a house on the South Hill. And we did this ghost busting with a news crew. Channel 2 News was filming us.
And some of them weren't real supportive. They just thought, okay, it's a good story. They send us out here. Let's see what we can do.
Well, here's the thing. They sent them out to cover us for a story, and they wound up spending 7 hours with us. So, in fact, Kirk from Chapter 1 was the cameraman on that story. But we also had Doug Clark with us. Anybody familiar with Doug Clark? Okay. Doug Clark is probably the biggest skeptic around in Spokane.
Major skeptic. He
Absolutely.
made fun of us up one side and down the other, and we didn't care. We thought it was funny.
It didn't
He
bother
said
us.
the funniest things about us that were just funny.
Absolutely. And that story is in here.
And he thought she looked like Dr. Ruth.
So I took him aside, I explained sex, no.
And then he was just
He was
fine.
happy. He was happy. But that is a story in here called Goodbye Mama. The details about that. And
Oh, and by the way, Kirk won an Emmy for his, he put that news story, submitted it, and got an Emmy award for that.
for creative camera work.
Yep, it was very good.
We were happy.
Okay, question.
I get the feeling from your definition of what it takes to be a ghost and your stories that ghosts are malign. Have you ever encountered any indifferent or helpful ghosts?
Very good question.
Good question.
Because people have come to us and said, you know, we know that Grandma is still in the house, but she really doesn't bother us.
And my ghost dusts for me, so don't go taking out my ghost because I've been in this house for 10 years and I haven't had to dust yet, so I know it's the ghost, just leave her there.
So, yes, we have had that happen. However, in our experience, and we have a lot of it, there's no such thing as a good ghost. Because, first of all, the electromagnetic field of a ghost and of a human is different. And the electromagnetic field of a ghost can tend to suck the energy from the human beings that are here, tend to weaken and cause illnesses that may not have happened. The ghost itself is not where it needs to be because every single ghost is stuck. If it's a ghost, it's stuck. Even if it's a good, kind, happy ghost and doesn't know better, it's still not where it needs to be, which is back to God processing, going through its life review, continuing its evolutionary path. So we say that there is no such thing as a good ghost. That's a great question.
So following on that, how would you differentiate a ghost from a guide, a spirit, you know, these other kind of entities?
Good question. Let me answer that one. We've come into the situation several times, and it seems to be stepping up its pace that when a spirit dies, they go on to what we call guide school and learn how to take care of situations on Earth when you're a guide and how to handle things and how to be a good guide. And then they will come back and be a spirit guide. But a spirit guide has been trained. They've gone to guide school, they've got their certification, and now they're back. So there is a difference between a ghost and a spirit guide.
And the most important distinction is that the spirit guide crossed over, went through the tunnel, had the life review. That's the difference.
Got
The
their
ghost-
debriefing,
Yeah.
knows what's going down, knows, you know, that was their life. Now they're going back to be a spirit guide. They've got it all down, and they're coming back. So, good question.
Very good.
Any more questions? Yes, spirit guide